Here comes the sun.
Here comes the sun.
Ah!
Oh!
Ah!
My bad.
Ah, that was funny.
So welcome to On the Road with Daniel and Katie. Little kind of background for why we're doing this show. Katie and I, for the next 16 weeks, we're going to two separate colleges, but they're right across the street from each other, and we have to be there at the same time. We have the same schedule, so...
Technically, Daniel's class starts at 8, and mine starts at 9. So I'm getting up like a whole hour.
We both have to be there Monday and Wednesday mornings at some time. So we're driving in together, and we thought, why not, since we're driving in together, take this opportunity, I don't know, to do this show for you guys.
You want to hear about my adventure? Trying to take the stupid shuttle bus?
Oh yeah, what happened with that? Well, first of all, just kind of do a spoiler alert. Did you make it over there in time for your class?
I did.
Okay, I want to hear about this.
No, you don't. Okay, so here's what happened. At like, I want to say it was like 8:17, like around 8:20ish.
Okay.
I saw the shuttle come.
Awesome.
He opened the doors and I climbed on. I said, okay, I've never done this before. Is this, can I get to IPFW through here, like, quickly? Like, is this kind of a straight shot to IPFW? And he's like, yep, as long as it says southbound, it's to IPFW.
Does it say southbound?
And I had no idea, but I'm assuming it said southbound.
It says on the outside of the thing. It's like a little digital display thing.
I didn't see that.
And that's what I said, right? You need to take the southbound.
Yeah, but I'm assuming he said, yep, as long as it says southbound. And I was like, okay. So
I'm guessing that means it says southbound.
Right.
Why else would you say that?
So I sit down, and we start going, right?
Right.
And we go to
Was there a lot of people on there?
There was one other person on the bus.
Oh, really? One
person got off when I got on. There was one other girl sitting back there. So that's nice and awkward.
Yeah.
Thankfully I had a book, so I was just reading.
Totally.
So first thing we do is we go to the IPFW student housing. So we go to the dorms, basically.
Okay.
Stop there, pick up some people.
Okay.
Then we go to IPFW campus. Now I'm trying to act all cool, like I know that I got this. I know what I'm doing.
Right.
I ride the shuttle, like whatever. So IPFW has two campus link drop-off and pickups, right? There's one on the north side of campus, one on the south side of campus.
Sure.
I want the one on the south side of campus because it's closer to my classroom.
Right.
And so, but I'm not sure if he's going to stop at that one, and he's like not wanting to talk to me.
Sure.
And I'm not sitting next to anyone close enough to ask them, them a question.
Right.
So I'm just lost. I'm just sitting there like this poor little lost girl who got on the bus and doesn't know where to get off. And so we go to he goes, after picking up a student housing, we go across, and he goes to the north drop-off.
Okay.
And I'm like, you know what? I'll just get off here. Just to be safe. I know I'm getting off. I know it's not that far to walk.
Right.
I'm just going to get off.
I know at least kind of where I am right now. I just need to get off this dumb bus.
And that was my thing. Was like, I need to get off this bus.
Yeah.
I get really
when
nervous.
you're on the bus, you have no control over where you're going.
And that makes me extremely uncomfortable
I
and
totally
tense.
get that. So just like, I know where I am. I'm close enough to walk. I need to get off this bus.
So as he's starting to come up to, I'm gathering up my stuff. He kind of does a slow by and then keeps going.
Oh.
And I'm like, he didn't stop. But okay, he knows that I'm trying to get to IPFW, so maybe he's going to the other drop-off thinking that's where I want to get off at. But he goes back to the roundabout and then leaves campus and gets on the road to go down to the south side of Ivy Tech, to go to the south campus on Ivy Tech. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Maybe he's going to come back? I'm like, he knows I'm trying to get to IPFW. I'm assuming, he'll do that, right?
Yeah.
So we go to the south side, campus on Ivy Tech. The only other people on the bus get off. So now I'm the only person on the bus. They get off. But I noticed something. This thing pops up that says stop requested. And I'm like, how did they do that? And so I'm looking on the bus trying to see, how do you do that, right? And I see it from the top. There's a cord that you pull.
Yeah.
I have no experience with buses.
Neither of us have ever been on a bus.
And our lives.
We should mention that.
And so I'm like, oh, I'm supposed to pull that thing, I guess, when I want to stop. But he knew I wanted to go to IPFW, so why didn't he ask me? He knew. I said, this is my first time doing this. Can I get a little help here? So
clearly he wasn't.
Everyone on the bus gets off except for me. And he turns around and goes, do you know where you're going? And I'm like,
no.
I said, I wanted to go to the drop-off that's in front of Kettler. And he's like, what? And I'm like, there's a campus link drop-off in front of Kettler. I'm pretty sure. And he's just like, Kettler. And he just turns around and starts driving off. And I'm like, okay, so are you gonna take me there? And I was like, I said, I'm sorry. I said, do you not drop off there? And he didn't really respond. Well, we leave the IPFW campus, and we keep heading south, so we're heading further away from IPFW. And I'm just like, okay, I said, so are you gonna go back to IPFW? Like, and it's only 8:30, but I'm freaking out. Like, right. I'm like, because yeah. And he goes, yeah, well, we'll, I can drop you off at Kettler. It's this big inconvenience, we'll right. stop, I have to go back through that way anyway. And I was like, okay, but we're not heading towards IPFW.
Right.
And I didn't want to ask, like, well, how long is that going to be?
Right.
Because, I have time, obviously, to spare, but I have no idea where he's going. So we go down, and he, picks up this guy that's at, a regular bus stop, okay. And then we loop around, and we go back past the South IPFW campus and into IPFW. So I'm like, okay, sure. Phew, thank goodness. And he pulls up in front of the Kettler drop-off. And I'm like, thank you, I'm sorry for the confusion. He's like, oh, you'll figure it out eventually. And I'm like, how about a little help?
Right.
How about saying, you gotta pull a thingy if you want to stop. So and I don't go to and I never got a clear answer as to whether or not he drops off at the Kettler one.
Yeah, well, if he went Kettler, what? That would make me think no.
He doesn't,
Did he seem, angry?
He didn't seem angry. He just seemed very ugh, this person doesn't know what she's doing.
Yeah.
And just, very short answer, never,
not interested in helping, basically.
Not interested in helping me, and never, elaborating?
Elaborating? Yeah. No, elaborating.
Elaborating on answers to questions. I'd ask a question.
Sure, and he'd be like, okay, I acknowledge that you asked the question, but I'm not going to answer it.
He'd be like, he just kind of grunts, and I was just like, oh.
Well, I'm glad you made it.
I made it.
And hopefully your future experiences will go better. Katie says she has a funny story.
Well, so on Wednesdays, I have the car. Right. And I come back and pick you up.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I kind of forgot.
Forgot you had to come pick me up?
I didn't make it all the way home.
You went home?